Hello, I am D1 Owner and this is my review of Warframe. Now, what exactly is Warframe? Warframe is an MMO, essentially. But it's not an MMO like, for instance, World of Warcraft, etc. It's more a third-person action RPG at the same time as it is an MMO. So it tries to do a lot, and it does a lot of it very well. But it's also very much the massive grind, so to speak, the entire game. It's just grinding for materials to craft, and there are so many things to craft. I mean, these are just recipes I have, and I don't really have a super lot of recipes. I have a lot of the helmets and stuff. That's basically what it is. And so, to get into the gameplay, we have to talk a bit about what you use when you play. So when you play, you have your character, essentially a Warframe. Now there are many Warframes. I don't have these. They have a price on them. You can buy them, but you can also get them without paying. But then these are actually the ones I have, and I have a few, but I don't have like super many. So there's a difference between normal Warframes, like Frost and Excalibur, Equinox, and then I have Loki Prime, which is a primed Warframe, and it's naturally better than the normal Loki that looks like this, essentially. You can color them as well, so I have colored all mine black and red because that's my favorite color composition. I really like it. And yeah, that is the basics to that. They can jump, you can run, you can slide, you can do all kinds of stuff. Then you come to the first weapon you have. Now this, I'm using Tonkor, which is a grenade launcher essentially, but you can use other weapons as well. Sniper rifles, bow and arrow, you know, different kinds. There are a lot you can actually buy right here, but they all cost platinum, which is a currency you can buy. But you can also get it in-game, but you have to, well, really get rare stuff and sell them. So that's part of the grind. And that's your main weapon. So that's basically, I don't really know, I suppose it's meant to be like your #1 weapon, your weapon you use when you're just running around killing stuff. Then you have your secondary weapon, which I'm using twin Grakatas, but there are plenty more. Usually you wear 2 weapons, but there are other kinds as well, but usually you wear 2. Now these you use, for instance, when you're down and you get knocked down and you need to, well, you can kill stuff even though you're down, and when you're carrying things like something that takes up 1 hand, then you can wield your twin Grakatas anyway, but you still only wield 1, so yeah, whatever. Then you have your melee weapon. This is the weapon that is mostly used. These are typically swords or staffs or whatever, you know. I have this Dragon Ikana Katana I really like, and this Orthos Prime, and you know, all kinds of stuff really. There are a lot of them. And yeah, that's basically the weapon you'll be using mostly, since it's basically the quickest one. And you have a companion. I use Carrier Prime, but I have normal Carrier, and they're Death Cube, Worm. All of these have sort of different abilities. Like Helios can take pictures of enemies for your codex, which is basically your bestiary. Worm, well, you know, it says right up here. Yeah, it's offensive. It shoots at opponents that come close to you. Shade can make you invisible for short periods of time. And Carrier Prime is probably one of the most used one of these sentinels in the entire game. It actually picks up stuff from a distance for you. So that's basically what that does. And all of them come with a weapon. I have all 4 of them, but I'm using this because it's like the best. You got it with the Prime. And you have gear, so I have codex scanners and a sacred vessel, which is part of a quest, but I'm not really getting into that right now. You have emotes that you can use while you're walking around. I can show you right here and right now. No, I can't actually. I have to be in a mission. Okay, well, we'll get to that. We have Incubator, which will allow you to incubate eggs to create Kubros, which you can actually equip and have with you instead of these. Now Kubrows are essentially dogs. And then you have, now here is one of the biggest grinds in the entire game. Mods. So these mods increase stuff, they do stuff, they change your stats. Prime Continuity, for instance, which is one of the ones I'm using, it increases power duration. So all Warframes have powers. Loki Prime, the one I use the most, have the ability to go invisible. Now that's only for a short while though. But thanks to that mod, I can increase that time that I spend invisible. So this is the star shard essentially. And with it you can actually take missions on different planets. I don't know if it's hearable, but there is some, you know, a tractor driving by. It's really annoying. So yeah, that's where you take all your missions. But I am getting a bit ahead of myself. I'm gonna go through another couple of things too. This is the market. Here you can buy stuff for platinum. For instance, pox, which is basically just for looks. You have them on your legs, they look kinda cool, I suppose. And you can buy this, for instance, which is a weapon. A huge melee weapon. And it costs 87 platinum. And platinum are not that easy to get unless you buy them. And you can buy relics, which I'll get into in a short moment. So basically that's that. Then we have PvP here, which really isn't that played. I mean, I don't really know a lot of people that plays it. These are new, so if you click these, you will open up your standard web browser to read up on the news. This is syndicates. When you reach a certain level, you can join a syndicate. I am with New Lokia, Red Veil, and the pairing sequence. If you play your cards right from the beginning, you can actually join almost all of them, though it's not easy. So by doing certain missions, you get points. I have 99,000 points for New Lokia, so I can almost increase. I just need a Vauban Prime Neuroptics first. But with these points, I can buy stuff. I can buy Ancient Healer Spectre, which is something that will help me greatly in missions. I can buy these sigils that I can actually apply to my Warframe and make it look a bit cooler, I suppose. And then you have weapon parts you can buy. You can't really get these anywhere else. You have a couple of mods here and seed sculpture, which basically is their symbol is the seed, so you can buy a sculpture of that. And you can buy all these special mods that are all basically just for special Warframes, such as this one. No, not that one. This one, for instance, Pacifying Bolts. That augments an ability of the Warframe Nyx and makes it a bit better. I'm saying with all these are like that essentially, and every single one of these syndicates have different mods. And I forgot to mention that too. And eventually you will be able to buy some weapons and Sindana, which is basically a cape. Sancti Tigris is basically one of the best weapons to get, I suppose. I think so, at least. I don't know, I don't have it, but from what I've understood, it's one of the best. So that's naturally what I'm aiming for here. So yeah, to increase in rank, you need to get maximum amount of points you can get, and you need to sacrifice money and an object. And yeah, that's about it for the syndicates. Honestly, it's not really worth much more. I mean, and then here we have the codex, which is basically bestiary and such. You can check out all the Warframes here. You can check out Vault Prime, how it looks and what its stats are, and some of its and its abilities. Yeah, shock, speed, electric shield, and discharge. Those are all of its abilities, and you have all of them here, so you can actually look them up if you want to, regardless if you have them or not. And you have all the enemies that you've scanned here with your, well, scanners essentially. So you can take pictures of enemies and you get them here. And then you can actually, if we take a look at one that I have maxed out, Shockwave Moa. Now, I can see what it drops, These are the most common. These are semi-common. These are the rarest. And then these are its stats and where it spawns. So it's pretty good to actually have. Like for instance, Leaper here. I have not scanned it many enough times, so I don't really know anything about it other than it has 100 health and it's an infestation mob. And that's basically it for the entire codex. That's what it does. You can look at all these things that you scan out in the field. And of course all the mods that you've gotten. And all the ones you don't have. But you can't actually look what they do. Actually, that's kind of... Well, I guess it makes sense. Because you don't have them. You can see where they drop. Huh, that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's basically it for the codex. Missions and training, all that sort of stuff. You can look up all of it there. All the quests you have, all the quests you've done. So let's take a mission. Let's see here. There are alerts. Basically, these alerts give you stuff. This one gives me a Vauban Neuroptics blueprint if I complete it. But I think it's but I think the one I needed for the Syndicate was Prime. But I'm just gonna take a look. I'm pretty sure it was though. Yeah, Vauban Prime Neuroptics. So, yeah. Before I start a mission, I'm just going to go through one last thing. There are Void Relic missions, Void Fissures. And to do these, I need relics. So I equip a relic and then during the mission you collect these void shard reactants. And once you get 10, your relic opens, and if you complete the mission, you get one of these things here in the possible rewards pool. And as you can see, the lower down they are, the lower the odds are. But using these things you get for it, I can't really remember what they're called right now, you can actually increase the odds a bit. But yeah, that's about it. So let's take an easy Void Fissure mission, because I think, yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's take this. It's low level and you get to choose a relic to equip. And well, given what I want, I think I'm going to go with this one, because it gives me the Nova Prime Neuroptics blueprint, and I kind of want that. Or the Skindo Prime handle, which is actually a weapon that has stopped dropping, but they don't actually replace the relics that you have. They just made new ones essentially. So if you get another one of those now, it won't have that drop. So you can actually control here, like, and I just remembered, I am actually going solo. So yeah, this is the mission. These are missions. You run around like this and you can actually pick up stuff. You can open containers, break containers, and all kinds of stuff. So now we are going to kill all these enemies and see if we can get some reactant. These enemies are essentially rift enemies, whatever it's called, void enemies. And I can't get that freaking... There we go, security camera. Okay, so there are two more here that actually have a higher chance of dropping it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna. So now I'm going invisible and cutting them open. I have upgraded my weapon a lot, so these enemies really shouldn't be any kind of match at all. Now this is a capture mission. That means I have to capture the target. I don't really know where the target is. Oh, he's upstairs. Or is he? No, he's not. Okay, he's out there now. Oh, crap. So the thing about this is, if you let them get away, they will get away and you will fail the mission. And if you have opened your relic before you fail, I'm pretty sure you lose the relic. So there we go. Capture done. Now all I need to do is to get the other 8 reactant that I need. Like I said, you can see I'm mainly using my melee move because, sure, my Tonkor is awesome, but these enemies are so weak. So I don't really need to use my Tonkor. But I can show you what it does. Boom. Literally blows up everything. Now I have actually modded it, so it isn't this good when it's just new without mods. But on the other hand, it's not as good as it could be either. But then again, who cares? So yeah, like I said, all my weapons are modded pretty heavily, so they are a lot better than they should be. But I'm not super great at this game. I don't have all the mods I want and stuff like that, so I really have weapons that are not that good. There are plenty of people with much better weapons. And yeah, this is basically what you do. There are, of course, there are plenty of different missions that you can do. I mean, this is just capture. There are spy missions, there are extermination missions where your goal is essentially to kill everything. And you know, there are just plenty of different missions. And yeah, that's somewhat it. And there, that's the last one. So I got 28 void traces. That's what you use to upgrade the odds on your relics. Now relics you can get from missions. Usually, however, they're gotten from excavation missions and such, where you can get them. You can't really get them from doing this kind of mission, but sometimes I think you can. I'm not sure. Not really sure how that is actually. I haven't looked that up. But mostly they are from extermination. No, not excavation. I really can't talk properly. So yeah. But basically, if you're not a fan of grinding materials, grinding levels, all that sort of stuff, this game is probably not for you. But as you can see, I have upgraded the range on my melee weapons, so I can actually just wreck shit from distance. Oh crap, wrong weapon. So this is the kind of situation where the Tonkor is really great. And oh my god, there we go, that pretty much just kills everything. Just those big guys, they don't generally die from that, but whatever, you don't actually have to kill everyone in this mission, so you know, who cares. And of course, I accidentally broke the windows. That's actually a cool detail, although it's really annoying sometimes. Because you are in space, you can actually break the windows, and if you do, well, all the air gets sucked out, and you know, emergency things are in place to make the doors unopenable. And I'm going the wrong way. Sometimes this game is a bit hard to navigate. And there we go. So I got to form a blueprint. Now, thing about this is that you can be 4 people and do this. And if you are, then you can choose between the reward all 4 get. So even if you got something like this, a formal blueprint, which you may or may not want, you can pick another reward that another person got. But this time I was the only one here. So yeah. So I got a mod, warrior mod, and I got formal blueprint, and I got Endo, which I'm gonna get into sooner or later. We have 28 void traces and just a lot of stuff. So with that, it's time to get into Endo, which I haven't actually gotten into yet. It's mods. For instance, primed continuity. Let's go fusion. Now what does it require to mod to fuse this? Well, I need 10,000 Endo. 10,240. I have at the moment 760. That's to raise it 1 level. To raise it 2, that's 30,000. But let's take a look at something else, a bit lower level, a bit lower rarity. Well, yeah, that is actually correct. So let's see here, continuous misery. It does not look like it's a particularly good mod. So let's see here. Okay, so rank 1 costs 10 endo, which really isn't a lot. Rank 2, 30, and rank 3, 70. That's not a lot. That's really low, actually. So if you just apply fusion, that'll cost 3,000 credits and 70 endo. So now I have max ranked that mod, and if I equip it, I will get more status duration on my rifle. So that's basically how it works. And let's see here, let's take duplicates instead. So as you can see, I now have 15 of these warrior cards, so let's take 14 of those. We can dissolve them into endo. I'll only get 70, but I mean, it's still pretty good. So let's do it again, like with this, and you just dissolve it, or you could sell it for credits. But I want endo, so boom. So now I suddenly have over 800. And I think if you just use more rare mods, you can get more. Yeah, see, these 9 are 135. That's pretty awesome. And yeah, that's basically how it worked. It used to be that you used other cards, like you could use or mods. I call them cards because that's basically what they are. But yeah. Oh yeah, that's a statue. It's a Noggle statue. I think it's called Noggle. It's a bobblehead. I have one. There are people who have like hundreds. And yes, this is a Christmas mod. No, not mod. It's a Christmas modification for my ship. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention this as well. The Sacred Vessel is part of a quest I'm doing. And the quest is called, if I recall correctly, Sands of Inaros. And basically it's just kill the right thing enough for this thing to be happy, and then you get a reward, and then repeat. So yeah, that is the basics of Warframe. There are probably more features coming. Oh yeah, here are the Void Relics. So if you see here, you can get all this stuff, but Fragor Prime Handle, not a good chance. So you can get it to Radiant. There's a better chance. Still a low chance, but a better chance. And that applies to like all of these. So yeah, there is more room here in the ship, but there really isn't anything here. So I'm assuming that they are going to be working on more stuff later on. And yes, naturally, of course, I forgot to tell you. I am pretty far into the game, so to speak. I have a lot of stuff. So that's why I can travel to any planet I want, because I've already unlocked them all. But when you're new to the game, you pretty much only have access to Earth, and you go from there to unlock all of the planets one by one. So that's basically it. There are different things as well. You have clan dojo and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna get into that right now because I'm just going through the basics of the game. And yes, if I had to rate this game, well, I mean, it's a good grind. But if you're not a good grind, well, don't want to grind, well, this probably is not for you. But if you like MMOs and such games, then yes, definitely check it out. And if you just like third-person action games, just check it out anyways. I mean, it's free to play, so you pretty much got nothing to lose. But if I had to rate it, well, it's a good game, so probably would give it in between 1 and 10. I would probably give it an 8. Because it's really good, and it does what it does really good. And it has active developers and all that, so really it's pretty freaking good. So yeah, that's it for this review, and yeah. Bye!